morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go because we have to talk about. We haven't seen anything yet. That's basically what we have what we have to talk about. The Bitcoin halving is nearing. It's about a week out, a little bit more, and yes, Crypto Morning Coffee is back. So let's talk about all of that right after the intro. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Trucking Hank said, GM, thank God CMC is back. Yeah, CMC is back. Unfortunately, I had to attend something at work that did not allow neither in the beginning nor in the end of the week, of the day, sorry, brain fried already, to do the Crypto Morning Coffee, which is unfortunate, but as long as I cannot live from Crypto Morning Coffee, I have to attend this stuff, right? So we're on track. As you can see here, down below we have 4,006 subscribers. So this is going to be the official celebration stream for that. So thank you all for being subscribed. Especially thank you all the rare hodlers, with Gaming Evolved as the latest one, with the number 34 here for supporting me and this journey and this channel, being the sponsor. So really grateful for that. I mean, look at the screen here around me. It's full, right? So thank you, Trucking Hank. Thank you, Jonas, that have already put something in and everyone else, obviously. I'm not going to read out 34 names, or actually it's not 34 because some came, some went away, but the numbers, they are only going up. So low mint numbers only for those that come early and stick. But anyways, make sure to smash up the like button right now. Slow start. Today is the freaking Friday. So congratulations. Everyone that is still in the hamster wheel is now at the arriving for the good days. Unless you have to work. But anyways, let's start out with what we're dealing with here. So, Bitcoin halving countdown is actually depending on how the blocks are. So yesterday I looked into this, was 8 days. So we were back for the schedule with the 20th. Now it seems to be the 21st. So before that we had already a schedule on the 18th. So it's really bouncing around. Let's see how long it will take, really. Maybe and probably it will just fall on the 20th and we get the meme, right? Gflow says, PH, what other alts do you like right now? Oh, that is a big question. But let's talk about it right now as we're looking at this countdown. What alts do I like? So let's go with the bigger ones, right? So out of the top, like the really top, I don't know, 20 or top 50, I like the Graph, Chainlink, and VeChain. Basically, these are my favorites out of the biggest ones. And then from the smaller ones, I'll go with like Arweave. Arweave is also quite big and it's older, but I like Arweave. I'd go from the really small ones with Chappies, Metacade. What else? Like I like all. I'd say what I like. It still means I'm going to sell them in the bull run, right? I'm going to take massive profit on them in the bull run. I'm probably going to dump them all. So I'd say all the gaming stuff like playable games, Nakamoto games, you know, right? All that stuff. So if we would pull up a list, I could probably go a little bit deeper, but I like those projects. I like, you said others, so otherwise I would say I like Veve as well. Okay, but let's look at, Actually, it was not a bad thing that I was off, because there's literally nothing to say the last days. I mean, this is the Bitcoin daily chart, and if you look at it, it's, by the way, not the chart, not the thing that I'm going to show you on the thumbnail, right? It's not that. But we have to adjust our potential future upper breakout line here a little bit, which gives us a little bit of a lower target because the breakout point is lower every time. So we're looking at still 82,000 if we break out here for Bitcoin. But what's really interesting is that to the weekend we are sitting now at this upper line again, and we are really confirming here that probably we're coming back down, right? So this, because, I mean, if you would play this out, you would go beyond the halving. If you really would play this out with a sideways movement in the end. So overall, I think this is pretty solid, and when the moment we break this to the upside, and it really seems that it wants to break to the upside, maybe it's breaking out right now, although breakouts to the weekend are not the, let's say, the best, right? The best would be to come back down and break out next week. But if we break out and not fall back down, this was a bull trap kind of situation, we will go eventually to 82k. And then we are already sitting at completely new levels, right? I think the breakout here and the passing of that all-time high would give or would let us go into the parabolic move phase, the parabolic phase. This is the first point where I'd say we haven't seen anything yet, because we basically just passed the old all-time high and now we're flagging out here. This is a thing. Some people are saying that this is a bull flag. And I mean, it could be, right? I would treat it as a symmetrical triangle, but some people are saying it's a bull flag. Let's just quickly go out of the logarithmic to treat it like that. If it was, then we would have something like a, if we would go like this, with a flagpole, right? And then go on breakouts. Okay, 105k, right? Is that unrealistic? No, actually not. Why would it be, right? But I mean, that depends on how you draw it. I'll go with the symmetrical, go to 82k, and then we'll take it from there. But just that you've seen the bullish targets, right? This can still break to the downside, but I'd say the chances are like 80 against 20 or so 80% upside. Overall, we're still kind of bullish, despite the macro that inflation doesn't really want to come down, which is worrying. GM greater than 4k. Wow, that's true. Absolutely wowed on this. Bobby Green says, patient hodler, you know we love you. Long live the bull run. Let's go. And this is exactly the right timing, Bobby, to talk about this. So look at that. We have the Bitcoin 200 weekly moving average is the black line, which acts usually as support. Only on bear market we did crush it somehow. And the coloring on the price, on the Bitcoin price action is the RSI. So whenever you have a dot on a monthly here on the Bitcoin price action, you have an RSI value here on the side. And I'll put the chat a little bit here below. So you basically see that an RSI below 55 is blue, and an RSI below 70 is green, and an RSI below 80 is yellow or orange. And we see that every time we are at this point of crossing the all-time high, that's the orange phase, right? Here, cross the all-time high, orange phase, cross the all-time high, orange phase, cross the all-time high, orange phase. So we're actually, according to this, absolutely on track with regards to the RSI. And the RSI, as you know, is also a matter for me to look at where we are in the cycle. So this chart from Plan B here, with the realized price and so on, is absolutely confirming what I think, that we have. I mean, if you look at this, there's one. Let's say this is the first orange dot, right? Here we only had one orange dot in the last bull run, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red dots. And then we had another pullback with lower RSI, and we had another all-time high, which was kind of unusual. I would say it's not always going to happen like the last cycle, but if we look at the previous one, you have some orange dots flip-flopping around. You cross the all-time high and you go red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, at the maximum. So we are at the orange dot. Let's add 8 months on top, brings us to the end of the year, mid-December, right? For the last red dot, if it's 8, and be careful. If it's only 6 or 5, then we're looking more at September already, okay? So left translated cycle, we have to factor that in, that it could be a thing, that we could top out earlier than expected. So let's watch out for the next dot, if it's orange still or if it's red, if it's crossed the all-time high or not, if it's far away or not. These are all things that we can use to our advantage to see where we are in the cycle. But according to this, we haven't seen anything yet. If this plays out, then all of that red action with high RSI, with an overbought RSI, is still in front of us. Let's see how soon it starts. Okay, another point to look at this is this. Moving back to chat. GM Conquer, by the way. Actually, the chat needs to go away here. Okay, so this is a pi cycle top moving average, okay? And as you can see, that moving average basically only cuts in the parabolic run and everything out below it. Last time that we had resistance under this average, after crossing it, we had the parabolic move. It's basically another way of saying the same thing as I just showed you from Plan B. Now this is from TechDev, and now we are at the same point again. And look, it's even the same way of acting at resistance. So subsequently, and this is the 1 week, next week we should get a break or a pump that brings us above this line. We should. However, last time that this happened was after the halving, and this time we are still in front of the halving. So what the halving was already over since a while. Yeah. So a little bit earlier here on this. I mean, there's room to hit more resistance on this and then cross, but it's interesting, right? It's interesting that it looks so much the same. So interesting stuff here. Let's talk about real fundamentals, and not only the chart stuff. And I'll bring myself up here for this. So Bitcoin held by institutions, according to who are the largest holders in the institutional space, and this is factoring in ETFs. So Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is the biggest, but they're selling into the second biggest, which is IBIT, BlackRock. So 300,000 Bitcoin versus 266,000 Bitcoin. This will flip probably along the next weeks and months. Probably sooner than later if Grayscale continues to sell. And then we have MicroStrategy here, which is actually crazy because MicroStrategy is bigger than most ETFs. Yeah. Only BlackRock has passed it. So then Fidelity, Tether, funny, right? ARK Invest, BitB. I don't know if BitB is like Wisdom Tree or something like that. But all the greens are ETFs, right? Here's HODL, and then the red are companies. So there's Tesla. there is, I think that's Coinbase and Square. And then we have miners, which are Marathon and so on. But you see, really, the miners, they don't have a lot of Bitcoin compared to what's out there and what the demand is. So that's interesting, right? The biggest miner has 17,000 Bitcoin. But we see that sometimes the daily inflow into just one, like BlackRock or so, was 2,000 Bitcoin. So even if Marathon would sell off all the Bitcoin that they had, they would not be able to supply the demand of the ETFs from the last weeks. And even combined, all these big miners would not be able to do that. And now in 7, 8, 9 days, they will only be about producing 450 Bitcoin together per day. All of them together. All of the miners, including Bhutan, so everyone will split up the 450 Bitcoins per day among them. So really, you would say, okay, Marathon probably mines like, what? Couple of Bitcoin, like 50 Bitcoin a day or so, maybe even less. There are a lot of miners, to be honest. So that is fundamentally where the price shock should come in, and we will see how heavy that is. Okay, interesting stuff in my opinion. Then we have also El Salvador, and El Salvador is DCAing. Has a plan, right? El Salvador buys exactly one Bitcoin, no matter the price. They buy one Bitcoin every day. Every day they just buy a Bitcoin. That's crazy. I mean, there are whales that are bigger than El Salvador, for sure. There are companies that are bigger than El Salvador, as we just saw. But it's a nation state that is slowly picking up Bitcoin. El Salvador was not in this chart, but El Salvador is like moving in the direction of 6,000 Bitcoin. So they know what's coming, and they are positive. Like, they are in the plus with Bitcoin. Okay, so very unlikely that they sell off much of their Bitcoin. Maybe they can take some profits and do some trading, nation state trading. I mean, how crazy is that, right? But I'd say this is, if El Salvador absorbs one Bitcoin per day, then there is 449 Bitcoin left for the rest. Okay, so then there is this whale that buys 100 Bitcoin every day, I think. Yeah, super crazy. But I want to show you this, which is from the thumbnail, and you have seen it. I will refresh the chart here. It is Bitcoin dominance. And Bitcoin dominance, we have been observing it for weeks and weeks on end. Bitcoin dominance is really breaking out. And you could say, how can this happen? I mean, Bitcoin is not moving. Yes, but the altcoins are actually losing market at the moment against Bitcoin. Even that Bitcoin is relatively stable, altcoins have been red the past days. So we had this rising wedge, so to say, or this, what is that? Like a ascending triangle, I would say. And Bitcoin dominance is breaking out. And actually we should be measuring that, get a measured move out of this. Even if it's a percentage dominance, but just, so Bitcoin could face 58%, go up, Bitcoin rallies, altcoins stay a little bit behind. So again, my argument from October last year, basically, or longer, is we are not in an altcoin season. We are only in an altcoin season. First, once this rally is over, that has just started, I mean, we are coming up here all the time, right? An altcoin season looks like this. This is an altcoin season. So the higher we go, the heavier our altcoin season will be in the end when it crashes. Because the higher we go, the more, because if you think about it, you have a market cap, a total crypto market cap of X trillions. Let's say 5 trillion, 8 trillion. If Bitcoin has 50% of that, 4 trillion. If Bitcoin has 58%, maybe 6 trillion, right? Something like that. That means that there are billions and billions more in Bitcoin that then can drop into the altcoins as profit taking. Most of the money that is in the ETFs will not be of that profit taking into altcoins, because the way from the ETF into an altcoin is harder and has more resistance and barriers than from regular Bitcoin. But there is so many whales that will have a higher price now to extract from their Bitcoin into altcoins that the effect is still massive, in my opinion. So we will see something pretty good here. Last but not least, I need to talk about the economy a little bit. So I think this is maybe worrying, but we will see. So let me read this quickly before we look at it. For the first time in decades, or actually let's look at it while I read. That also works. Just have to put my face here where it doesn't disturb. For the first time in decades, gold and bonds are trading in completely opposite directions. So we saw that before, but now it's more extreme. This all began in 2022 when gold prices began pricing in a potential drop in real estate. This was largely driven by speculation that inflation would return. Now inflation is back. We have seen that inflation is up from 3.2% to 3.5%. So now inflation is back and gold has seen a historic $400 over the last few weeks. This comes even as 4 interest rate cuts have been removed from the market forecasts. Gold is trading in a world of its own. So we see here inverted US 10-year real rate and the gold. Completely going opposite after, since 2005 or 6 on this chart, moving coherent together, right? So is that good or bad for Bitcoin? Well, there are 2 things to read out of this. First of all, we have 4 rate cuts removed from the plan, from the market forecast. So the market forecast had forecasted that we should be approaching a rate cut. We didn't, and we are holding the rate stable at the moment. Still, inflation is going up. Not great, not ideal. On the other hand, if that's the effect on gold, and you consider Bitcoin has harder properties than gold, and with the halving, Bitcoin inflation goes lower than gold's inflation by cutting off the mining rate. I mean, we have a hard end at 21 million, but until we reach the 21 million, the inflation that is coming in from the miners is lower than the inflation that's coming in from real gold miners. Okay, so I would say still bullish for Bitcoin, but obviously rate cuts and money printing would be the ideal scenario where currency debasement is heavier to make Bitcoin shoot up. So also this we have to factor into our analysis. Could the cycle end early? Will it stretch out longer? Something for that. I will show, we're talking about altcoins as well. So guys, by the way, make sure to smash up the like button. I know you guys are just listening, drinking your coffees, not talking too much, but I want to show something from the altcoin chart. If we zoom out here, so you know guys, we have looked at our altcoins. They're moving kind of sideways, kind of forming the same ascending triangle as Bitcoin. Let me refresh here. Hey Swaggle House, what's going on? Nice to see you here. Thanks for the interview once again. By the way, guys, check out, if you are interested in comics, check out Swaggle House's channel. Check out the interview that we made here on this channel if you haven't seen it. And yeah, good to see you. Yeah, so basically forming same pattern, being in this consolidation / cool off range, But if you're looking at the altcoins in a broader perspective and how we had, so this is we are not in the logarithmic. Let me just get rid of the logarithmic again. So how we had projected it, we're almost back. Yeah, we are back in what has been predicted, so to say, right? We rallied a little bit earlier, but now we are in it. So how long can the sideways movement go? That is definitely the question. So according to this, if we would just expect the same multiples, which we can deduct a little bit, there's still around about a 5 to almost a 6x left in the tank. Okay. Well, seems that some people woke up. No tactics GM, Orange Glory, good morning amigos. Andre Omigeko. What is going on? Good to see you all. Yeah, another rare hodler. So a lot of people, thank you for smashing the like, and if you haven't yet, smash the like. Smash it as hard as you can. So altcoins are doing that. Altcoins, by the way, we also have to look a little bit back. When you climb up the mountain, you have to look back. You cannot see every point in altcoins and say, oh yeah, and just because Patient Hodler says we haven't started yet doesn't mean that we haven't started, or like we haven't seen anything yet doesn't mean we haven't started yet. We are up 132% from the bottom. That is a little bit more than a 2x, but overall, from the multiples that we know of, that's not much. We are not even crossing the all-time high with altcoins. Altcoins are still waiting for their move to catch up with Bitcoin. So that's a 54% out in the entire market cap. That means theoretically the entire altcoin space, this is total 3, so that means it's without Ethereum. But technically the entire altcoin space without Ethereum would do a 50% move. Every altcoin, 50%, 54%, just to catch up to the all-time high, just to catch up with Bitcoin, just to catch up where Bitcoin is right now. But it's not distributed evenly. So it will be probably that a BNB is not going to do the 50%, but only a couple of percent, but smaller altcoins are doing 100% while this happens, right? So just so you know. We are eagerly waiting for this to happen. And hopefully there's no like economic meltdown or economic disaster to end our bull run early once again. Hopefully that is not the case. Or if it happens, it needs to happen now, like the pandemic that came in before the halving, so that we then afterwards can print our way out of that situation, right? But that's the risk that actually everyone's playing with. But looking at gold, okay, people are going to risk-averse assets, which Bitcoin doesn't count in, although it solves the same case, or solves a better case, I would say. Okay, skipping the others chart, let's look at Ecomi. We everyone is waiting for. Yeah, we didn't look at Ecomi since Monday. And so far, what we said on Monday, that we lose the support and we're going down, is happening, right? So that definitely happening. We are down 8% since Monday. And, oops. Okay. Hey, why does it let me click here? So there we go. I say it again. I didn't invent the forecast. I did not make this prediction. It was John's Cryptotherapy that made this prediction, but we have to see that, so this, by the way, this is how it looks. This is how the OMI chart looks in a non-logarithmic way. We are usually looking at it in the logarithmic way. So if you are asking why people say that OMI is dead, is because they're looking at this chart and every move that we call a pump looks like this, right? Okay, so in a logarithmic chart, it looks like this. The logarithmic chart gives us multiples. Like a 2x is always as long as a 2x, no matter the financial, like the nominal number. So the x's are replicated here. So every time we get 100% pump, that 100% pump is as high as the other 100% pump. Okay, so you see here the whale hammer, so to say, in this chart. We have, as expected, we hit it again, where it did not let the OMI price break out once again. After this was CryptoXR, we pumped from CryptoXR with the announcements. Whales took profit, and whales are very likely to push this price down into at least, and this is very important, at least into this phase of into this range of 0006 to 0057-ish, and there could be wicks down to the 0005 range. Okay, this is why I put the whale down here, because we saw this once, twice, and here we saw a wick that also went to the 5.4. Now, there were some people also in the rare hodler group that were like, okay, where do I put the buy order if I want to buy OMI? And there are people that don't want to buy OMI anymore. But if you want to, I'd say the safest is to put it somewhere here in this accumulation range. Like at 0006, somewhere here. That's the safest. Or you go with the lower end of that accumulation range, which is a 0057. That would mean you have to wick into that area and your order has to get filled. Just because your order is there doesn't have to mean that it gets filled 100%, because this is Gate.io. If you have that order on OKX, I don't know, will it happen there? Because these two wicks, they happened on Gate. They didn't happen on Ascendix, for example. So we will have to see, but there is, so looking at this price here, there was support on this previous top. The next, there is there is this reaction here where we had this candle close, but there, and maybe here like support, but there's not really support at the moment. So basically the way is free to go from here to, yeah, basically up on this is a 6%. Another 6% to the downside would not shock me at all, especially if Bitcoin starts to rally or if Bitcoin corrects once more. Both would drive OMI down, but looking at a 7% actually, at least 7%. Now, the biggest move to the downside would then be to the whale, another 24%, with a wick potential below that as a liquidation event. As John's Crypto Therapy says it, he is capable of doing that, okay? So keep that in mind. He's capable of pushing the price down to that level and liquidate whatever is down there. So interesting times, and I can tell you the FUD will be enormous if this happens, right? I mean, another 25% down while other altcoins are sitting 2x from their lows. And then it's funny because you look at VeChain, for example. VeChain had its bottom at 0.15 cents. And now it's sitting at 4.6 at the same time. So Ecomi is undergoing a serious whale game, I would say. And the new exchanges don't help with that. Because they are too small, I'd say. And it doesn't really matter for whales. Also, volume is fading once again. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out when we fall to this level and get our rejection probably. Yeah, I'm really curious when this will break out. On the other hand, you could argue, that looks pretty juicy, like this whole accumulation. There will be at some point a breakout and going to higher levels. But, and this is, hey, chiming in right at the same time, Jordan is here. By the way, we had a couple of people. No, Luke said good morning, but Jordan says, "Hey PH, what is going? How it's going? It's going good. Coffee in the morning and crypto morning coffee after not being able to do that. Now it's good that you are here, Jordan, because at around the Ecomiverse, you guys are throwing around with a lot of big predictions, right? OMI to NFT breakout is actually a good possibility. It then though has to break up out of this resistance, right, to really change things. So you guys are, I mean, I was already trying to be a degenerate and predict this as the year's end target, yeah, challenging this resistance, which I am not sure if it will happen this year. There's a strong, like 11x from here, and when we come down, maybe even more. So will I buy more OMI? Maybe I'll go for my 5 million. However, it's far away, right? I mean, an 11x here is far away. But with a clean OMI to NFT, I don't see why it wouldn't happen. Then you just have to market that like crazy. But the other predictions that I see, like 5 cents end of the year or stuff like that, no way. No, my prediction on around the Ecomiverse was 007. With 007 I mean this here, right? So 0.007, just under the resistance. Jordan says, if we get a decent exchange as well, it will help. So far, pretty crappy exchanges. That is true. No, it's not even about decent exchange. What you need is an exchange where the US can buy. Because all of the trading volume, all of the degenerates, they are coming from the US and they want to buy there. Like legally allowed, like without the whole VPN shebang and stuff like that. Nowadays, 5 million sounds peanuts. Yeah, kinda. If you think that 5 million is what? It's like 5 million is like 2.5 thousand. A little bit more. It's like almost 3,000 US dollars. It's not peanuts for everyone. There are people, like, you have to see. You and I, we are Germans, right? So, okay, salary is quite good in Germany, although taxes is like probably the worst in the world. But it's fine. But let's say there is someone watching from India, yeah, or whatever, like where wages are low, right? And you earn $5 an hour. And from that you pay your rent and your food and your family, and you've like $1 left over from your per hour, or even 50 cents only. Let's say you manage to get together $50 or $100 a month to really invest in something like this where you could lose it. That's like, you need a long time to go to 5 million OMI with that. So, and then on the other hand, you have people that make like 6 figures a month and they can just spare thousands of dollars to ape into OMI. No questions asked. So we have to see, like, it's always relative. A Mercy received NFT are good during the bear market. And exactly right. So NFT stuff is still good because it's coming later, right? So it's still fine. No one cares. So this is why no one cares about these coins. We did a comparison the other day. Energy says, sure, but you also have had 3 years to buy. That is true. It's actually, in these levels, you had 500 days to buy. Okay, so if you have $1 spare per day, you are looking at $520. So it's not that much. It's $1 million. Yeah, it's $1 million at average level in the bear market buys. So yeah, for low income. Yeah, if you have $1 spare, you're an old millionaire even then, but only if you like buy in this way. Orange Glory says it depends on so many factors, right? OMI to NFT exchanges, but also, of course, what is happening with the metaverse. Don't even dare to say Viviverse. Does anyone have some solid info about this? So yeah, the solid info about this is there are beta testers in the Viviverse, and these testers are saying the quality of the collectibles is insane. Like seen inside the metaverse, they're saying that the gold from the statues has like its own shiny thingy. I think the Viviverse will really focus on experiencing your collectibles. We cannot expect much more than a glorified showroom, I would say. But if that glorified showroom is really good and you have OMI to NFT and some synergies, and you can use OMI in that metaverse, so to say, in that glorified showroom, and you're like, okay, let's buy this collectible with OMI and put it in here, and oh, this looks good, so let's buy this, right? If people are trying that out and that makes some headlines and plays into the narrative, then we're good. The problem is, what no one knows is if metaverse and NFTs will play a role in this bull run. I would say yes, because gaming is so strong, and gaming usually leads to all of these NFT and metaverse topics at some point, when people are really discovering those games and not only buying the token but really acting with it. I think then, yes, then we will have that topic. And also, I think what will play a big factor in this run is the ERC, what was that, 433.7 or so standard, that an NFT can have its own wallet. I think this narrative will be played at some point, and I see that some of the chains are working with that. For example, VeChain is working with that. And I think there will be a lot of chilies also. I think because then you can have basically, like, you can have a collectible that has items in its wallet, which means you can have an NFT character or something like that. That is basically having the equipment NFTs in it, so you can group that, right? It's basically like an inventory for your NFTs. So, or your NFT can get an airdrop, hold coins in it. So this is kind of crazy, right? So yeah. By the way, why did I hide the chat so much? But it's a good question, Orange. I mean, I think they know this. So there is a reason why we saw these two exchanges closer to the halving, and not before, even though that it would be perfectly possible to do that before. And I think there is a reason that we did not see the Viviverse just yet, because it's just, I mean, imagine the outcry if they would launch the Viviverse right now and it just wouldn't have any effect, because no one cares about metaverses that are being launched at the moment, right? There are metaverses being launched and no one talks about them. What is your bear, base, and bull case for OMI this cycle? So this is an interesting question, and what I find funny is that people are like, the bear cases for most people are always up, right? But to be honest, the bear case is 0. Yeah, the bear case is doesn't fly. SEC goes against it. OMI needs to be cut loose, and everyone tries to sell it, and it falls to 0. Okay, that's a real bear case. Like, this is how you formulate a bear case. A bear case is not, we end up at this level here. That's not a bear case. That's a optimistic base case or so, yeah, or a pessimistic base case. But the bear case is 0. Okay. You asked for this cycle. Okay, this cycle. I would say in the base case, we go back to all-time high in this cycle. That's my medium case, like somewhere to 1.3 cents to maybe 2 cents. So let's go with this, 2 cents. And then, let's go with 1.3 cents. Previous all-time high. Let's not go with 2 cents. So base case is here, okay? This. It challenges it, too many whale wallets, it cannot go above this, so that's your peak. Yeah, and heavy so we would go like this. We go into this event, we challenge here, we come up, we challenge this, we come up, big pullback at 008, challenge, get wrecked here, head and shoulders, goodbye. Okay, something like that. That would be my base case. The bull case for me is somewhere of 2 to 5 cents, I'd say. So somewhere the all-time high, and this is a broader range because what happens for the bull case, I'd say in this range, right? This is what I would expect. Sorry for that. That needs to be here. So beyond, but 5 cent maximum. Okay, 5 cent maximum. Any idea how long this cycle will be? Will it be the same for years? I'd say to be defined, but I have made videos about this, which you can check out. So I've made a lot of videos about this, but just to give you an idea, it's not about predicting it exactly right now. I would say it will be the same cyclical nature because of the global liquidity expansion. So even though that we don't have rate cuts, let me answer that from Bitcoin here. So Dirklate, here we go. So you see this, right? The halving points here, and here. And you see the RSI. Okay, so this is what we are looking here constantly, where we are in the cycle. And for me, what's important is every time we top out, we hit an RSI of roughly 90, okay? So we want to be at 90. We're right now at 76 on the monthly RSI. So we're not there yet. So for me, it's more important what these indicators that we have here show, that they show every time, than an exact date of 4 years or so. I would say they are intact until they are not, the 4 years, right? So the second thing is the TSI. So the TSI bull and bear crosses, they are marking, let me go here. They are marking, so here's the bull cross. So they are marking the upwards moves, right? Relatively good. And the bear crosses are confirming our bear markets. So here's the bear cross, bear market, okay? Lagging indicators. But what's important here is that when you look at the trend lines, when you draw a trend on the TSI, you get this. And you see here we have just crossed. I mean, we've just crossed a couple of months ago. We are in our upwards move. We have started, but not seen the parabolic move. And there's still the same time, I'd say the same range to go up until we hit this trend line. Then we had already since the cross. So more or less, which would be another 6 to 8 months until the Bitcoin top. And that would fit more or less the cycle, right? Would fit with everything that we've seen so far throughout the stream. So I would say the cycle is
the cycle length is intact until proven otherwise. And we're looking at this a lot on this channel, just so to tell you that. Energy says, so no 10 to 30 cents on your side. Yeah, no. I'm not, to be honest, I would be happy about it. I will have a moon bag left for that, but I'm definitely taking profits before that. Because I'm not going to sit on my Omi bag waiting for 10 cents and then not having taken out my initial investment and so on and so forth. Yes, if I have $1 million left and I let this ride out until I'm happy and satisfied, fine. Or maybe 2 million, right? Depends on if I buy another million. But definitely I'm going to take profit at 1.3 cents at the least. Maybe at 007 already. Call me stupid afterwards if it goes to 30 cents, but you also have to measure the market cap and how much you have to move to get to that point. And I mean, this is 10 cents is a 16x. No, sorry, it's 100. What is that? Yeah, that's a 16x here to go back to all-time high. And then another 10x to go to 10 cents. And then another 3x to go to 30 cents. No way. No, I don't have Chuck. I mean, I said it before. I'm not the person for the shitcoin roulette, right? So altcoin season around 8 months. Altcoin. So Dirklate, for altcoin season, and I this is what I'm trying to emphasize all the time. So looking back at Bitcoin dominance, like how much Bitcoin is dominating the market, until we do not have a turnaround here on Bitcoin dominance, like here. So look at this. This is the last altcoin season that we had, the last real altcoin season. Starting out with a big wick rejection on 70% Bitcoin dominance, going all the way down to a Bitcoin dominance of below 40%, like a massive fall off here. Until I see this waterfall-like collapse, there is no altcoin season. All right, there needs to be a sharp fall off and losing all resistances. And so let's say we are going to, let me refresh. Let's say we are going to 60%. Let's say we are going to the 60s. Here we can see it even better, right? So this is an altcoin season and this is an altcoin season. That's what we were looking at here at 70%, right? So 2 big altcoin seasons in the last 2 cycles. Let's say we are going up, we have this breakout here and we are going up to 60%, okay? And there we get rejected and we fall down and then we lose this support line. That would be my message, okay, it's on, right? The altcoin season is on. And then I would hold on because I would be pretty sure that the dominance revisits this level. And that's my level where I would take massive profits or even maybe on the way already. But that's, and don't get me wrong, Bitcoin dominance is not the reason why altcoins are pumping. Bitcoin dominance shows us that it's altcoin season by altcoins growing so much faster collectively than Bitcoin. So it's a symptom of what's happening in the market. It's not an event in itself. It just shows us what's happening. Bitcoin loses market share against all of the altcoins, meaning it's altcoin season. Because an altcoin season is triggered by something else. It is triggered by people taking money out of Bitcoin and putting it into altcoins. Jordan says, missing out, bro. All you can regret later. That maybe, but you also told me that about Omi, Jordan. You told me, missing out, bro, last time to buy Omi in the 000s. And here we are, and I can buy cheaper than at that point. So, and you cannot have every coin. Like, I mean, we can. Let's see here. By the way, VeChain is kind of breaking out here, but not the topic of today. So let's look at Chuck. Where's the Chuck? Is Chuck even like? Is there a chart or so where it can? Chuck wrapped ether. Is it Chuck bucks? No, right? It's only Chuck. I want to look at this, but there's no exchanges probably. It's only on Uniswap, right? Let's see if I can load this. Ah, damn. Get out of my face. This trading view just makes me crazy. Chuck against, yeah, let's just take this. Okay, so that's Chuck on the monthly. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Bull flag, I would say. So it's definitely probably going higher, but you never know. Maybe it's a rug pull and it goes like this. I don't know. There's nothing to, despite saying, okay, this is the resistance. There's not much. I mean, what we could do is we could go on the coin market cap and look for Chuck. Maybe we see something more Chuck. It's a Chuck Norris, right? Is it this? No, that's rugged. That thing is already rugged, right? Since February, that's not the coin that we're looking for. Yeah, SEC is going after Uniswap. That's absolutely wild. By the way, this is maybe something to also talk about. Oh, by the way, let's talk quickly about Veve. So there is some burns. So these collectibles have been burned. Star Wars posters, Return of the Jedi, Sesame Street Gold series, DC Dark Knight Metal Emblem, all like this crafting stuff. Series posters, the Infinity Gauntlets, rest is burned. So a jetpack from RoboCop, the murals of Happy Tree Friends, and the animation desk. So actually, whoever has stuff of this, it's now more scarce. So they have, I don't know how high the burns are, but burns have been happening. Yeah. NFT Hero says, I couldn't find it either. So I don't know, man. Chuck is like, it's the latest shit where people are gambling money on. Always remember, guys, it's PvP, yeah. So from gaming, you know, it's like player versus player, and it's a single player game. Okay. So whenever you, especially on meme coins where the arena is harder, it's like take everyone's money, or take money before others do, and the last one is going to hold the bag. Okay. So that's always what you have. I think this mindset, it makes it easier to sell, because then you're like, okay, PvP, if I lock in profit, or at least take out my initial investment when I'm up 5x, I cannot lose anymore that PvP. And then after that, it's taking other people's money. It's not a group theme or a group thing. Here on this channel, yes, we give information so that everyone here can win. But ultimately, I'm going to take profit. And if you didn't sell until I do, I'm going to take profit out of the stack where you are still have stakes in, right? So that's the game. That's not, yeah. So be careful on that, because someone has to hold the bag in the end on this. Someone will be with a filled wallet of Chuck worth nothing. And with someone, I mean thousands of people, okay? Meaning if you're up on Chuck, maybe a good time to take out some, like only there is no harm done in, okay, I took $500, I put it into this coin, the coin goes 4x, I have $2,000, I'll sell for $500, I have my $500, I can take other opportunities, and I cannot lose anymore on this moon bag, right? So this, and it feels wrong because you're like, we are all greedy shits, right? But it feels wrong, you're clicking the sell button and you're like, but if I leave it in, I could be a millionaire and buy a Lambo from it. And if I take $500 out, I will regret it. I'd say 9 out of 10 times you will not regret taking out your initial investment at some point and just do something else with it, right? Did you catch Foster and Dr. Stuff stream? Curious your thoughts. No, I did not yet see it, so I have to go and see that. Yeah, so I mean, that's just my thoughts on profit taking. Veve stuff coming up. Crafting for the addiction comic. Full transparency, I didn't go for it. I'm not going to craft it. 14th, Wolverine, probably going for it. Probably without MCP. There are 3,500. Then there's a Deadpool comic coming out, which I didn't even know about. And probably on the 17th there's a new comic series, and then 21st Lamborghini Aventador series probably. So there is some stuff coming up on Veve here. Let me check. So here's the Wolverine animation. People are like, you can put a mask on, by the way, which I like. People were like hating on that, but I think it's pretty good, the collectible. I don't see a problem here. I think it looks good, but it's kind of become a habit for some people to hate on all designs. I mean, some things look weird, but I think this Wolverine genuinely looks good. So I like it. I like the old school Wolverine. I hope it brings on a lot of people. Yeah, and then where's the Deadpool and where did the guy get this from? Where did he get it from in this calendar? Where's the Deadpool thing? I don't know. What are your newest comics? Actually, I didn't buy. Did I? Let me see. Stacker World. Let's go to Stacker. Oh, I have to log in quickly. I have to go to full cam for the login here on the Stacker. So I don't know how much Stacker has right now on comics and so on. There we go. I can only show you my transactions. By the way, my vault did really suffer. Yeah, so it's not only yours, it's also mine. What did I buy? I bought one more. I'm stacking these here. This all new Marvel Now, just in case, right? I mean, it's at $1. It's kind of a interesting comic. It has a lot of editions, but I did buy. Let me see here the transactions. Actually, so what matters. So what did I get last? So I got a symbiote suit, yeah, from Veve. Nothing special for a mint. I bought this here, the all new Marvel. I bought this Scott Young Thor 1, which I didn't have, and before that I bought the secret rare here, Captain America 180 with a 355 for $30. So it's up $5 since then, but still pretty cheap in my opinion. And then this is all bugged because I have way more of these comics, I think, bought. So I don't know. These are not my last mints. So the comic mints are still not visible in... I can only show you what I bought on Veve directly. And so this is also not accurate, this vault, because it doesn't factor in almost everything that I bought on the comic side. So actually I have also more beyond 500 comics, so there's definitely something missing here. I think my vault is 7.8 thousand or so a little bit more. Yeah, but I'm still looking at, so at the moment I'm not buying. I'm going to buy the Wolverine, probably is the only thing that I'm going for. I want to consolidate a little bit, like the cash situation, in case that I want to take advantage of some more in the altcoin space. And if I'm going to buy something in the comic sphere, then it's definitely 40 edition secret rare comics. 40 edition, or depending on if they have the 1.5k releases and they have 60 editions, I might buy some of these as well, because 60 is still super scarce. Yeah, and with more user inflow, hopefully this whole thing grows. But guys, I'm going Trucking Hank. I'm going to watch that stream on the weekend to see what's there. But guys, that's it. I am really happy that I could make this this stream today. So smash up the like button once more. Make sure to be subscribed to the channel to never miss out, especially Dirklate. You have a lot of questions, so make sure to come back to the next Crypto Morning Coffee, ask them there, because today I'm running out of time. And yeah, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. Have a great weekend. Hopefully I'm going to do some videos on the weekend, because I have so much stuff to talk about. So I really need to do some videos on the weekend. And yeah, have yourself